It's a crazy question, I know. I know you're going to say, Brian, you're overreacting. Here we go again. The past 2 years of spring practice scrimmage called the spring game actually told us a lot about our offense, didn't it? Defense is great. The offense, Should Trent Pearman, a walk-on from, yes, Daniel High School, should he be the starting quarterback at Clemson? Or should he at least receive a chance to see significant playing time? Folks, welcome to Clemson Football Live. I'm glad you're here. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. I'm Brian. I'm glad that you're joining me. Hope you'll subscribe. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe, pass it along to people. Even if they love to hate me, pass it along to them. I'm glad to bring them joy as well. So let's get some things out of the way here. The spring game is a glorified scrimmage in front of Death Valley. That's it. But if my memory serves me correct, this is like the last scrimmage, right? I could be wrong. Won't be the first time. Call my family and my friends. But I've been right a lot. 2 years ago, we saw DJ Uiagalelei before he moved on to one team and then now moved on to another one. He came out. He didn't look so good. And everybody said, hey, don't overreact. DJ's going to do just fine. And you're good. How'd that go? Did that work out? The proper answer, even if you're stubborn, is no. Glad to help you there. What about last year? We went to the spring game. I came on here and insulted my own intelligence to a point, but I thought I was being logical. Of course Garrett Riley's not going to show the world his offense, and he's only been on campus for, 2 or 3 months, if that. His last game, he got blown out by Georgia 65-7. I think that he would want to come out here and show that he had at least had some reason to give Clemson fans a reason to be excited. I was poorly worded, I know. Y'all will let me know, trust me, I know you will. You're going to say it better. Use better grammar. Yes, Mrs. Wiley. Ernest T. Bass reference. But you know what? That was our offense. Now, another thing that you could say is, well, Brian, Moffitt didn't play. Brendan Stoll didn't play. We had injured players like Stellato, Tyler Brown, who didn't play. You would be right. But riddle me this, Batman. If Moffitt played and Brendan Stoll played, would that have kept Cade from throwing into double and triple coverage? Once again, for some of you who are still going through the Clemson Tiger cheer, I'm going to help you. Because some of you, not all of you, but some of you, reality is not your friend. So I'm going to help you yet again. No, it wouldn't have kept him from throwing the ball into double and triple coverage. Try that against Georgia. You'll see how quick they can return an interception for a touchdown. And the defense will have nothing to do with it. The defense, once again, incredible. Nobody is arguing that our defense is incredible. But your defense can only do so much. They will get tired because they are, even though they're trained for it, human beings. So if the offense goes out there and lays a golden turd, no matter who they're playing, the defense will eventually get worn down enough to where, they just can't help it. Defense, they win championships. That's a cute little saying, but really a championship winning team is across the board. Clemson should know this from 16 and 18. But if I took you to Death Valley this past Saturday, and I said, you know nothing about Clemson football, but you know football. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sit down. By the end of this glorified scrimmage, tell me who is the starting quarterback for the team. Hands down, you would have said Trent Pearman. Hands down. What do we know about Trent Pearman? Well, I tell you this, I'm going to share this from Clemson's website. I want you to see this because a lot of people are questioning, who is Trent Pearman? Trent Pearman is the son of Danny Pearman. Danny Pearman has been on staff at Clemson for a very, very long time. So if he has a high football IQ, talking about Trent, that's the reason why. He's been around the Clemson program since, well, forever. Why? Because his dad has worked for the Clemson football team. Now, yes, he's from Daniel High School, and I know us Clemson fans, we get irritated when certain players from Daniel High School gets a scholarship when we're like, hey, we could go to the portal and pick up somebody, and you know how my feelings on the portal. The portal's not the problem at Clemson. It's poor coaching hires at the offensive level. You know, you hired Matt Luke, great. He's having to retrain all of this poor training or poor development over the past few years. That's another can of worms. But this guy, he is the two-time Gatorade Player of the Year in South Carolina. He has 2 state championships to his name. And he was 24-0 as a starting quarterback. All right? This guy can play football. But look at him. He's 6 feet tall. He's not short, but he's not overly, he's not tall. 190 pounds. And the guy can play football. But that's the face just a look. That's a young kid. That young kid came out and put on a clinic this past week. So if it seems like he knew what he was doing, it's because he's been around it for years. This is a guy who is a walk-on. But it's not like he's never played football before. Did he look like a 5-star player coming out of high school? He sure did. Let's talk about Vizina's stats. Vizina was 14 of 25 for 108 yards through 2 interceptions. One was returned for a touchdown. One of the best interceptions I've seen in quite a while. And it was from Jamal Anderson. You're like, you mean it wasn't one of those passes where he's falling out of bounds and grabs it by his pinky finger and wraps it in? No, it's because he was so close to the line of scrimmage and the velocity and the quickness that the ball was coming out of Vizina's hand that Jamal Anderson had the hand-eye coordination to actually not just knock it down, intercept it, and run it back for a touchdown. Unbelievable. Once again, the defense is great. What about Cade? I've taken up for Cade. I still take up for Cade. I'm going to tell you why. He has not been developed. Watch Trent Pearman look like he was like. Did you hear the first couple of minutes that I talked about Trent Pearman? His dad has been working for Clemson forever. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You get coached whether you want to get coached or not. Klubnik was 13 of 26 and 158 yards. He threw into double and triple coverage. That deals nothing with Phil Maffa playing. Or not. And when you play behind an offensive line that is so terrible for as long as Klubnik has played up to this point, you pick up poor habits. And some of you, now I'm not talking about all of you. By the way, I have the comments section turned off so I can actually focus. I will be trying to read in between. You'll be like, what's wrong with him? Spit it out. Well, I have to turn off the comment section so I can. The truth is, Cade has picked up poor habits. The offensive line is having to be retrained by Matt Luke. Why? Reaction time. Your reaction has to be trained. Because when you get into a game and you're playing against Georgia and Florida State and Notre Dame and whoever else that's worth their weight in salt, you don't have time to think. You only have time to implement what you've been trained on and what you've been challenged, the drills that you have continuously been drilled on. And Trent Pearman comes out puts on a pretty good show. Now, am I advocating that we replace Cade? No, I am not. I'm not. We're at the 10-minute mark of this video. I am not saying replace Cade with Trent Pearman. I'm saying give Trent Pearman a shot. If practice and scrimmages mean something, give the guy a shot. Now, the sad thing about it is it would be against Georgia, and I don't know if we want to do that to that young man. But a ball being forced into double and triple coverage, no matter what team you're playing, no matter what team you're playing, it's going to be an interception in D1 and even FCS level. D1 2A. I know, it's FCS and FBS. So, I mean, and here's another question. How did we get here? To where you recruited in DJ and he didn't pan out. You recruit in and sign Cade Klubnik, who was, 45-0 or something like that in high school, played 6A Westlake in Texas. I mean, this is not like he was good in the state of South Carolina. This guy was playing at the highest level of high school football in America. He's not panning out. I'm not saying that his career is over, not at all. I've advocated for y'all giving him a chance. So when I'm even saying give the guy a chance, you know, anyway. Now it's looking like 4-star Christopher Vezina. He's not panning out. Folks, when are we going to accept that we have a development problem? Yes, I agree. Not every quarterback's going to be Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. You just don't find those guys just anywhere. There's no one in this draft. Now, I know everybody's going crazy over Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is not going to pan out. Sorry, he's not going to pan out. He was going to come out, have a few good games. Everybody's going to say, see, I told you. And when his career wraps up, unless something majorly changes with him, I will guarantee you Caleb Williams it's not going to pan out. But in this draft coming up, and in the draft last year, there's nobody that even compares to Deshaun Watson. I know C.J. Stroud had a good year in the NFL. But Watson, before everything went down, nobody could stop him. Now, maybe so. With everything off the field activities and his time away from the game, nobody compared to him. Nobody compares to Trevor Lawrence when he was in college. Currently, right now, or over the past few years. Sorry, they don't. So, yes, Clemson fans, they had the fortune and misfortune to have those quarterbacks within three seasons of one another. Watson, Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence. Within 3 seasons. Okay, so I understand the bar is high, but folks, throwing the ball into double and triple coverage after you just had the season that you had, and that's what is showcased to the fans, that's scary. Because, once again, if this spring game is any indication of what the 2024 season will be like the past 2 spring games, incredible defense, questionable offense. And sometimes pedestrian. Anemic is a word that I use quite commonly when I talk about our offense. Folks, it's going to be more of the same. And so Trent Pearman should be at least given a chance. He should be at least given a legitimate chance because Vezina didn't look like he was taking over the world. Klubnik didn't look like a guy who's been in the system now. This is going into his 3rd season. 2nd year with Garrett Riley. And once again, I know this is going to be somebody's rebuttal. Well, Brian, there's players that didn't even play. That does not keep Cade from throwing the ball into double and triple coverage. You could put Jerry Rice and Randy Moss out there playing for him. Playing with him. A pass into double and triple coverage is still a pass into double and triple coverage. I can't make this any more logical for you. Is he just not making those reads? Is the game moving a little faster and he thinks he can fit the ball in the window? I think a lot of people would have felt better if he would have just thrown the ball away versus throwing into these coverages that are impossible. I've read articles, and I'm closing out here. I've read articles, and I even listened to a few videos. Even people who I am friends with, we just disagree on this, and that's fine. To be friends, you don't have to agree on everything. That's ridiculous. That used to be a common theme in our society, is you could be friends and just disagree. But there are people, even Clemson publications, who you can tell that they're trying to temper the way that they're approaching Trent Pearman in his performance, and even they are going with it's not bad to look at his performance and go, maybe he should be the man. And then, secondly, what is happening with Clemson's quarterbacks? I don't know. Folks, I don't know. But I'm telling you, the offense at the quarterback position, we have a lot more question marks right now. The worst thing that could have happened for Clemson was for Trent Pearman to come out and play like he did Saturday. The worst thing that could have ever happened to Vizina and Klubnik was for Pearman to come out and play like he did Saturday. Because if he just came out there and played, kind of like a walk-on, you'd say, man, Cade, you can't be throwing into double coverage like that. But you know what? We'll work with him. Now everybody's talking about the walk-on. And they have that to deal with until, I don't know, August the 31st, when Clemson plays Georgia in Atlanta. Tell me what you think. I want to hear. I want to hear what you have to say. Leave the comments in the comments section below. Pass this along to your friends, your neighbors, your clergymen. Let's go through the comments section really, really fast. There's a ton of you in here. Let me see. Parker Henderson's in here. Parker is a member of Clemson Football Live. Good to see you, Parker. Thanks for supporting the channel. Pearman literally showcased as to why Vizina will transfer. That's hilarious. You're telling the truth. Still Gamble rewatching the game right now, and his pocket presence is already light years ahead of Cade's. I appreciate the $5 donation, Still Gamble, and I appreciate you also being a member of the Clemson Football Live. By the way, folks, Clemson Football Live, you can support. There's a join button below this video. Unless you're on an iPhone, you will never see it on an iPhone unless they change something. $3 or $5 per month. You pick which tier. Parker Henderson said, dude, I don't even notice it coming out. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Still Gamble. His pocket presence was incredible. Walk-ons tend to be stars. Let me see. Keep going down through here. A bunch of people in here. Cade looked like Cade. Cade looked like Cade. Pearman looked like Pearman. JR the Gent. Cade worries me. I don't see any progress. Yeah, that's bothers me as well. Let me see. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to let you go. Hope you share this, pass this along. Thank you for joining me. Whether it's a frustrating time or whether everything is great, whether we have a walk-on who is probably our best choice at quarterback, or whether we have Trevor Lawrence back there, it's always good, most of the time, to be a Tiger. Go Tigers.